Hi there, I just want to make another video to talk about recovery tips actually. I think it's something I've had to learn a lot of, and things I've picked up from other people and recovery groups in the past, and things on my own journey that I've really benefited from. So I want to do a series of videos on recovery tips really, and I think they can help with people whether or not they've have a diagnosed condition, and whether or not they've really suffered from mental health issues, or whether or not they have varying mental health problems. I think that recovery tips and are tips for life really, when we're down, or when things are not going well and stuff. So yeah, I think I want to share a series of a few videos based on recovery tips, and please, if you can, if you want to, please share any of your own on the comments below, or on separate videos. I think it's really good now that people in the mental health system are really starting to be recognised more, and people outside the mental health system as well, but people who have suffered are really standing up more in this country now for who they are and what they've gone through, and helping the public understand. Because I mean, the media more or less every day, or every within some newspaper or something, have something negative about mental health patient or something, and it's up to us, I think, to the people who are well enough to speak out on behalf of everyone, because it's not on really. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about. I mean, after I got really ill, and I was out of the hospital, psychiatric hospital, for the first time, I was so low and depressed and ill in my head with everything, that really, I lost all hope, ambition, motivation. I let go of all my dreams in life. And I suppose these recovery tips I'm going to talk about now, I think are really ones that, when you're at your lowest and you really need someone to pick you up. So yeah, I think basically what I want to say is, I think when you're really at that low point and the world just seems like a dark mess, that you're unable to see into anything, there's no clarity, you feel completely downtrodden, disrespected by everyone, unappreciated, you don't respect yourself, you have self-loathing, you may hate yourself in all these weird, like, in all these different ways. You may really kind of not feel empowered in who you are, and just feel that life is not worth living, and whatever other symptoms you may have, they're really severe feelings, they're really strong feelings that people can have. And when I was at that point for a long time after coming out of psychiatric hospital, one thing that really helped me was to really assess what I wanted from life, and really start to assess. I mean, people say to you, like people said to me, and they said to other people I've known, and I know, they say, "Oh, pick yourself up, it's not that bad." But it's easy for someone to say, but when you're really feeling that, it's quite hurtful, and it's inside your heart, it's more than just a feeling. So really, for me and other people, what's really helped them is to really don't expect yourself just to one day wake up and it'll be better. You really try and work out what's going to make you feel better. So for me, finding a purpose for myself, and finding something that I felt a part of and made me happier, about myself and about being part of the world, was really beneficial. Um, for me, like getting involved with a community centre and volunteering down there, or not even volunteering, but going down there and trying to talk to people if you can, and share in some form of group activity, even if you're very passive in that position. Just being around people um, who may have issues like you, or who may not, who um, being around people in groups, like an interest group or a hobby group, or for me, community centres were always really good, because they've got a really big variety of people. A lot of people who tend to go to community centres as well tend to have long-term issues in some form or the other, and other people who believe in community and want to help out. And I think community centres, in my experience, are really good places to kind of, even if you're just sat there, reading a book, to be around activity around you, rather than sat at home in your room like I used to be, depressed and just, you know, um, in my own sorrow and mourning for, grieving for the loss of who I am and who I was. I think it's really good to um, get out there and be part of something, and then from that, really try and what helped me was really trying to give myself a purpose, like somehow feel like I'm contributing to something, even whether it's just friend chatting to someone at a centre or a mental health charity, resource cafe, chatting to someone there or being part of something outside of something that can help you to let go of the kind of the the thoughts in your head, the negative thoughts, something that can distract you and something that can get you out and part of other people. So like community centres and resource cafes at mental health charities, I think are really good. Um, they've benefited a lot of people I've met and mixed with, and if you don't feel like you can do that, if you don't want to be part of a mental health um, resource cafe or charity, try and get down to any other social group you can be part of. Maybe something you used to do, like, I don't know, swimming or chess group or something, something that's going to get you feeling better about yourself. I mean, yeah, and for me, mainly though, a lot of it was when after going to the community centres for a while and the mental health resource cafe, um, I really started to pick my confidence up bit by bit, and my social skills developed a lot from feeling okay about myself and realising that there's so many other people out there who go through what you go through. You just don't realise, when you're isolated with your condition and with your problems, with whatever's going on, you really feel it can be only you who feels like this, and it can really feel like you're the only one going through this, but you're not. There's literally probably thousands of people, in like in a 100-mile radius that are going through what you're going through, or at least within a lot of people within the same country or county and things. So there's always people out there, and we all go. Mental health problems are extremely common, and there's so many people who go through various conditions, and it's just reaching out and feeling more human about yourself and feeling more okay. And so for me, like being part of the resource cafe and mine, which was a mine charity, and the community centre, trying to get involved in voluntary activities or just workshops, or I also got involved with a recovery group, which really helped. Um, and that was really good. So if you could find one of them nearby, that would be really positive. But I mean, something that enables you to give you a purpose, because whether we like it or not, we all feel that we need to do things that in society that we feel we can respect ourselves for, and that other people can respect us for. So how doing something whether to give ourselves purpose, to feel that we're doing something worthwhile, I think is really beneficial. Because I mean, a lot of people when they come out of psychiatric hospitals, they just feel like a spare part. That's just I felt extremely defective, invalid, inferior, massively inferior, so low in confidence. And it's really important on the road to recovery to do something that gives you purpose. I mean, for some people, it's writing. They'll write a book about their experiences or about their life or about their interests or something, and they can express themselves through writing and feel purposeful, feel they have a purpose through sharing their writing and things. Or people, it's poetry, artwork, whatever feels best for you to, you know, um, that gives you a sense of happiness and dignity. Dignity is a really important thing, I think, as well, because, especially when I got ill, I didn't clean myself for months and months and months. I wore the same clothes. I completely wasn't looking after my hygiene, my teeth, everything, and I lost a lot of dignity in myself. Because of that and because of what I went through. And going into psychiatric hospital is probably, being in there for months and months, it's not very good for your sense of self-dignity and self-confidence at times. And so it's really important that it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, it's very, you've got to work, if you want to get better and you want to feel like that recovery is the right thing for you, working on your self-confidence and doing things step by step by step to improve your confidence is really important, you know, to get the life you want to live and to get back to who you want to be, you know, and so yeah, I think finding a purpose, like I say, in life is really good, whatever that is. I mean, for me, it's just kind of being a good friend to people as well. Other people who've been through what I've been through, being a good friend to them, that gives me an enormous sense of purpose and well-being. And also, there's other things like, you know, so like a lot of people, if they hear voices, they have headphones or they have the music really loud, or you know, and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of different angles you can come out on the recovery. But I think that for me was a major one about my sense of self-esteem, is finding a purpose and regaining your dignity. You know, talking to other people who've been through similar things. You know, that's really important. But some people feel they don't want to mix. You know, they don't want to get too involved in the mental health field of the population, and that's fair enough. But you know, yeah. So I wanted to say that really, and recovery groups are always really good if you can find one nearby. Sometimes they run at you know, mental health charities and things, but there's a lot less of them these days. But I think it's good if people set them up, you know, if you need to. um, I mean, for me as well, also hobbies. Hobbies were a good way to distract, you know, from your worrying thoughts and symptoms of whatever. I used to do a lot of artwork and work with clay and stuff. And I know for some people, their artwork is a great um, form of release, you know, from all this kind of manic energy, you know, and all this kind of suffering and inner pain. To focus on your art for some people is the way to have that break and that temporary respite from all your issues. You know, I think, yeah, sharing coping strategies I think is really important for people, for us to do, because um, you know, a lot of people out there haven't got contact. A lot of people are very isolated, you know, and especially people who are very depressed or paranoid. It can be one of the number one main, you know, one of the one biggest issues for a lot of people is that isolation. And also, I think what I found with a lot of people I've spoken to and myself is that a lot of mental health problems escalate and get much worse over the months. You know, if you break down and if you're having a breakdown or you're having a relapse or you're just not feeling well, a lot of it, sleep, I've discovered sleep is extremely important. And I know it's common sense, people think, you know, sleep obviously is important, but it's massively important, even more so when you've got having a mental health problem or a crisis, you know, or you've got an ongoing condition. Sleep is a really important thing, because more or less all the people I spoke to, I don't think I haven't spoken to one person who hasn't had this experience. Is that when they're undergoing psychosis or any sort of real crisis in their mental health, sleep has always been a major thing. I mean, I was sleeping 1-2 hours a night if I was lucky for months and months and months, and obviously this escalates your symptoms. I mean, it's even said in the scientific research studies and things that a neurotypical person, you know, normal functioning human brain, human person, if they don't get sleep for if they don't get any sleep, was it a week or something like that, they can start to have hallucinations. And so, you know, it's not like that people with mental health problems are some sort of like, you know, weird people who react differently to things. We all have the human body and human mind and human brain, you know, and the way that expresses, if it expresses through schizophrenia, bipolar or depression or OCD or whatever people have, it doesn't mean you're like weirdly abnormal or anything. It just means that that's what you've been through in your life, and that's how your mind is expressing your trauma or whatever, you know, whatever the issue was. But to me, it tends to always come down to trauma in some form. But yeah, sleep is massively important. And if you feel like another episode coming on, or a relapse coming, or a crisis coming up, really have a good look at your sleep and try and do the best you can to try and get a good deep sleep. Like, you know, lavender under the pillow, or valerian root extract tablets, or sleeping tablets if you have to, but they never work for me. But I mean, a lot of some of my friends really benefit from valerian root from the health food shop, or there's lots of other things you can use, but look into it because it's really important. Sleep, and a lot of people get quite a few hours sleep, but don't really sleep deep, and so it doesn't really, register, because it's all cellular rejuvenation and cellular growth, and your mind needs that respite every evening, every night, to shut down. And if that's not happening, that is one thing that can really affect your mental health and, path to recovery. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that for now. I hope you've benefited in some way and been inspired. And I just really feel that everyone who suffers out there with some form of mental health problem, or just anyone in life, I think it's important that we share our experiences and recovery tips for those, who for one reason or another feel very isolated, and they don't have, other people around them, or even if they do, to help enrich people's recovery and improve our lives. Alright, thanks. Bye.